Brought to you by Penguin. The Children's Block by Otto B Kraus. Read by Lewys Taylor.
To my wife, Dieter, without whom this book wouldn't have been written. How goodly are thy tenants, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel. Numbers chapter 24, verse 5. Introduction. When World War II was over, survivors began returning from the Nazi concentration camps. But people who had stayed in their homes during the war were unable or unwilling to listen when the prisoners described what they had been through. They said that to listen to these horrors was too painful and would give them nightmares, or else they dismissed our descriptions as wildly exaggerated. We therefore ceased to speak about our experiences, except when we were among fellow survivors. On one such occasion, Harry T., who, like my husband Otto, had been a counsellor on the children's block, turned to Otto and said, "Don't you think, Otto, that the time has come to write about the children's block in Auschwitz-Birkenau? There was nothing like it in the entire Nazi machinery of the extermination of the Jews. A few of us are still alive, but after we are gone, there won't be anyone left to tell the story. You're a writer. You should do it." Otto started making notes of the events he remembered, and I too supplied my own. Later, he began visiting former co-workers from the children's block, who were scattered in the kibbutzim and towns all over Israel. It took him years to collect the material, because Otto worked as a school teacher and was free only at weekends. We had no car, and he was obliged to travel by public transport, which, as is known, keeps the Shabbat. People didn't have phones yet, and visits had to be arranged by letter. In the course of these encounters with his former fellow counsellors and teachers, Otto discovered a surprising fact. Comparing the mortality rate among the prisoners, he found that a much larger percentage of those who had worked with the children remained alive than of the other prisoners. The reason couldn't be that they had received more food. They hadn't. Even on the children's block, the adults had eaten the same soup as the rest of the prisoners. Children had been given a more nourishing soup, but the block senior, Freddie Hirsch, had forbidden the staff to take even a spoonful of the children's soup. Otto came to the conclusion that it was their mission that had given strength and stamina to the counsellors. They'd had a goal which helped them overcome the dread of their looming death and their pity for losing their young lives. They dedicated themselves to alleviating the suffering of the children. This is in accord with the philosophy of Viktor Frankl. Planning the structure of the novel was a slow process. Otto didn't want it to be just another document about the tragedy of the Holocaust. Many such books already existed. I often saw him sitting at his desk staring into space. He explained, "Don't think I am idle. I am thinking." He created the characters in the book from people he knew, but he changed their identity in such a way that they couldn't recognize themselves. For example, Lisa Pomnica is a composite of two young women who decorated the wall in the children's block. Scenes I myself witnessed, or events which actually happened to me, Otto attached to other characters. Also, the hero of the novel, Alex Aaron, is fictional. Although Otto mixed into his personality some of his own biographical elements, and of course, no such secret diary existed in reality. Finally, Otto was ready to start writing. After school, he would sit at his desk, or under the tree on our porch, and write. There were moments when he had to stop, overcome by emotion. On one occasion, I found him with his head resting against his crossed arms on the desk, sobbing. He had just written the poem, Green. One line of the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?